gentlemen, I'm back here in front of you with my face. So what I'm going to be doing now is, currently E3 is on. So I just finished watching the Bethesda conference, so I'm going to talk about a few things. And I'm probably going to do this for most of them, or at least as many of them as I watch and at least take a look at. So I'm not going to talk about everything that happened in the Bethesda conference because not all of it is important or interesting to me. Like, for example, I'm not going to talk about Battlecry. I'm going to say it looks like a combination of TF2, Dishonored, and Smite. That's what it looks like to me. But I don't know stuff like that. But what I do know, I will talk about. So, show started off. They had a bunch of stuff they were talking about. It was like, okay, let's go. And then finally they were like, all right, enough talking. Here's the Doom trailer. And they're like, here's the Doom trailer. Let's go. So, Doom. What is Doom 4, I guess? I guess it's Doom 4. They're just calling it Doom. It's next-gen Doom. So what does next-gen Doom look like? Well, if I'm to summarize it simply, next-gen Doom is Doom 1, Doom 2, Doom 3, Halo 4's look, and a bit of the mechanics of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Now, when I say the last one there, it is mainly how the jumps look and feel, because it looks more like COD Advanced Warfare and how you have a double jump and you have very large verticality. But that's just a hark back to original Doom and how your mobility works. This, they've been hiding this Doom trailer from us for a long time. But even though I don't think there were a couple things like they said, oh, you're not worthy to see it. I don't know about that. But it was good that they waited, because it gave them more time to obviously put more polish on this thing, and it looks fabulous. So this is the return to classic Doom. Your basic objective is kill demons. That's it. Kill demons. And there's no darkened setting where you have to use a flashlight to find out things. No. It's Doom. You can see all the monsters. Your only objective is to kill them. And kill them quickly. So, also, you've got the return of multiple weapons. They are running, I bet you can do just auto switching like you could in the old Doom, but they also have a weapon wheel where it slows down time, essentially GTA 5 style, and you go, and you look at all your weapons and you select them. All the weapons are back, and they've added some new features. So, one of the big show-offs that they have is the double-barreled shotgun from Doom 2 is back. The reload animation to it is still pretty ridiculously awesome. Double-barreled's back. Chainsaw is back. Pulse rifle is back. Normal shotgun is back, and it is a special mode where you can attach something to the side of it and cause it to do a triple burst, essentially kind of like an AA-12 shotgun. Chain gun is back and still looks good. You have a heavy machine gun, which is belt fed, looks as good as pretty much all other machine guns like that, but you can also slap a side pocket of rockets to it that fire. How do the enemies look? They look like an amalgamation of, I would say, a bit of Doom 3, a bit of Destiny, and just some general hellspaunishness. It looks like the next-gen versions of the pixelated guys we fought in Doom 1 and Doom 2. They bring out the big, by the end of the trailer, well, they had multiple, which I will get to in a sec, because they had one for single player, They did a multiplayer trailer, and then they did another single player trailer where they showed off Hell. So, the minions of Hell look exactly like they should. They look like Hell minions. Hell looks better than most, like, it looks, they aren't defaulting to this just red, crimson everywhere. They're giving it more color, and the main thing they're focusing on is this is a Hell that is rocky and stony, but the parts that's making it red is blood. It's filled with blood, because that's exactly what it's going to be by the end of it. So this really is next-gen Doom 1 and Doom 2 with inspirations from Doom 3, Halo 4, and Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. So, going with the Halo comparison, second trailer they showed with multiplayer. This is the Halo game we should get instead of Halo 5. I say that as a Halo fan. I would rather play this than Halo 5's multiplayer, because this is looking to be like Halo. It's not about the customization of classes and the Call of Duty-ifyingness of competitive shooters. It's about the classic of learn the map, learn where the guns are, and do that, and learn how to do the speed. It's gonna feel like Quake. I've never played Quake, but it looks like it's gonna feel like Quake because I've seen what Quake looks like in gameplay. Anyway, it's gonna feel like it should, how the classic should feel when you play that kind of stuff. Like, it's hopefully gonna be. And you've got all these power-ups and stuff, but it doesn't have all the kill streaks, it doesn't have all the customization. It's getting back to the core point of what multiplayer shooters should be, whereas here's the map, learn where all the weapons are, and learn how fast you can get around the map and get kills. That's what multiplayer shooting needs to be. Nothing else. Finally, the thing that fucking sold me harder than anything else, because I'm not a big Doom fan. Halo was the first first-person shooter I really got into, but the thing that showed me that this was the origin of Halo, this is the thing that made Halo, and this is the thing that's going to bring Halo back for me. And when I say that, it's the essence of Halo, not Halo itself, because Halo itself is still continuing. I will really love to see what Microsoft's conference has in the way of Halo 5 Guardians stuff, because it will have some at least. Anyways, Doom has something called Snap Map, which, granted, isn't a great name, but what it is the multiplayer or co-op player map building tool that fucking crushes Forge. It makes Forge look like fucking Lego blocks in comparison. The amount of shit you can do with this thing by what they're showing off is astronomical. And I know Halo 4's really upped the ante in what you can build with stuff. This one is going to top it, because they aren't building a secondary thing where you also have to calibrate a game type with this thing. You do the same, you do them together. You build them together. They showed off how you interact with this world, and it interacts like Forge, but with way more tools, has a better view, because when you're just starting out, all you have is the top-down view of how the map works, and you put it together like a floor plan for an actual blueprint of a structure. Then you go in, And you place all your bits and bobs. You place your box here, your chair there, your explosive barrel there, your shotgun there, whatever you need to do. This is building whatever you want. This is the forge that people have dreamed of. So that alone helped sell me on this thing. So Doom is looking to be the first-person shooter that I want to play. Not Call of Duty, not Halo, none of that. I want to play Doom. Because at the end of the day, Doom started this franchise, and now it's back to become the fucking king of this franchise. So, obviously, go watch all the Doom coverage and stuff. You can just take what I've said here and think about it and actually see the real stuff. Anyways, moving along. So I think Battlecry happened, and then two guys come out on the stage, and all I see is Bethesda, Arkham. Arkham made Dishonored. Last year, there was a photo taken by someone of Dishonored 2. They showed Dishonored 2. However, it was only a cinematic trailer, so we can't get a whole lot. But they explained, what they did show was that we are continuing with Dishonored 1's story. We are moving to a new location. We are keeping the theme of viruses and how it affects the slums of the city and how it messes with shit. We are keeping the steampunk essence of everything and amping it up, making it a little more scientific. We are getting new powers where you are becoming much more demon and unholy-like in your abilities. Instead of warp, where it's just place the item and then warp to there, you literally throw out essentially a demon ghost arm like Spider-Man and rip towards yourself. And finally, the biggest part, the one that was like, oh shit, they finally did it. They did the thing that fucking Ubisoft was too scared to do. You have the choice of playing as Corvo or the Empress's daughter. You finally get a fucking female assassin character. Holy shit, how did it take this long? Like, come on. But holy shit, she looks so cool. Like, she looks like she's going to give Faith a run for her money in speed-wise. Mainly because she has the powers with her, but she's going to have all the combat abilities of Corvo by the looks of it. And they also explain that each of the paths has different abilities. So you play how you want to play, because they obviously play differently. So there's not a whole lot to go on. They didn't say any release date, just nothing. But it's being made, and it's going to be for next gen, and hopefully they'll come out with more news as we go along. There wasn't more information after the conference. I decided not to watch because I wanted to make this, and I just want to make this. All right, finally. So the final showcase, the one that everyone was going nuts over. The reason that, well, the whole thing is all these other ones are collaborations with other studios. Doom is with id. Dishonored is with Arkham. Bethesda proper, their main two, of course, are Fallout and Elder Scrolls. Currently, Elder Scrolls is taking a back seat because they're still trying to get people to jump on the hype train of Elder Scrolls Online, which hopefully by now, once it's hit console, is a little better. It looks okay. I still wasn't really jazzed by it. But maybe now that it's no subscription on consoles, maybe it will be fun. But it's okay because Fallout 4 is here to save us from any ZeniMax crisis. So, to preface this, I'm not a Fallout fan. I played New Vegas for about 2 hours and got bored. And I know everyone who sees this, who is a Fallout fan, goes, well, you should play Fallout 3 instead. I know that. And some would even say, no, you should have stuck with New Vegas. When I think of Bethesda games, I'm just an Elder Scrolls fanboy so much that that's where I sink my time. That being said, Fallout 4 is the one that could do it for me. Because the intricacies of this game are actually a lot more complex than I was thinking was going to be. So, number one, they started off that series of videos and talks all around with the art. So, I hope that the collector's edition of this game comes with an art book that is as good as the one that came with Skyrim. Because if anyone remembers that one, it's a big, I think it's like that big or something. Get that in frame or whatever. It's big. Art book. Well, like for comparison, it's probably that much taller than my iPad and maybe about that wider. So it's a big, thick, I think it's fake leather covering on the outside with really nice glossy pages and obviously all the artwork in there. Hopefully Fallout 4's Collector's Edition also has that, because the art they showed, just the concept art of that game that they showed, looks tremendous. So, going with that, how does the in-game look? It's next gen. It's supposed to look nice. It looks nice. I still think the best looking game we have seen so far is The Witcher. I think and I'd actually have to physically eyeball The Witcher to really and once it comes out, which I will get to it because they actually gave us a release date that fucking shocked everybody. So far I think The Witcher looks the best. This is either close second or topping it. I can't tell because it's only footage. I have to get right in front of it and look at it. What else? Going along with how good it looks, the lighting. I think the lighting in this game is better than anything that has been released yet. Like, it looks beautiful because they get to play with the lighting because you have all these different settings, all the different climates from the nuclear fallout and stuff like that. It changes how the lighting in certain places looks depending on cloud structure, just depending on areas of the game you are. Either you're underground or you're above ground. The very first time you come out from the vault, you are blinded by the sun, which is exactly how the lighting of that initial scene should be, because you are stuck below ground for as they explained in the trailer, 200 years. So that initial coming out of the ground should be exactly like that. What else do we have here? So, character customization. You have, once again, you can customize your face. You can probably customize your body, but it's mainly focusing on your face. This one has way more than Skyrim did, and that's saying something because Skyrim had more than others. So this one looks really good. You can model your face really, really well. Going from there, whatever you model your face to be, in consequence with, you are a parent in this game because you have a wife and you have a child. Depending on your choices of how you model your face and her face, it changes how your kid looks. Now, granted, when they showed the child in the introduction gameplay, they still have a little bit of work to do on how to make a kid look good, because that was some ugly baby. And that's not just because he picked the wrong tropes. That was just poorly modeled. Going along with that, your conversation system of how you talk to people has been changed from the classic Fallout of you have the bars of pick this option, pick this option, pick this option, to a much more Mass Effect. There's an option on A, X, B, and Y. You pick whichever one you want, and you go with that one. One thing that really surprised me, and I would really like to see how well they handle this. When you pick your character's name and stats, your name, when you speak to, you have a helper droid in your house. When you speak to your helper droid, he addresses you by name, by your registered character name. And the presenter said, we have encoded several thousand names into the lexicon of the game. And I was very surprised by that. However, not everyone likes to play with a normal name. So, I have to wonder, what happens when you feed it either a name it doesn't recognize or something that is not a name and is an amalgamation of characters? How much can you mess with that? And what happens when you do? Does it just respond to you just giving a random surname or something like that? I don't know. It was a demo, so we don't know yet. Let's see here. One thing that still looks a little weird, facial animation and idle stances. But that's a really hard thing that I will always gripe about when I watch stuff like this. And it's one thing that gets on my nerves about when I play Skyrim. When you talk to someone in Skyrim, they stand there like a fucking limp noodle and just kind of move their arms and maybe move their head a little bit. Fallout 4 is looking to be about the same. Facial animation is a little bit better, but you still got this weird idle stance. And I know it would be really hard for you to walk and talk to the person and do stuff, but it still bugs me a little bit. But that's only because I'm nitpicking at this game. It's the only thing I can really nitpick so far. Anyways, let's see here. You now have a layered armor system. So initially you could put armor on like chest piece, I think, continue all the way to your arms, and then you have leggings, boots, gloves, helmet. Now you can have multiple layers on, like you could have a shirt and then a piece of body armor and then like special shoulder guards. So you can layer up pieces and really enhances the customization both for statistics and for style, if you just don't care and just want to play the game looking like a certain thing. And they showed off that you can do that because there's a lot of different costumes in this game. The Pit-Boy has been retrofitted with a bunch more stuff. It still looks like the original Pit-Boy. You still have your statistics page, your inventory stage. I think the one thing they added, I may be wrong because I don't play Fallout and I don't know anything like that. They have now, you can listen to audio logs and you can play little arcade games on your Pit-Boy. So they showed off their equivalency of Donkey Kong, but where you play as Donkey Kong throwing the barrels instead of being as Mario / Jumpman jumping over the barrels. They also showed off what is a direct interpretation of Missile Command, which is pretty cool to see. I thought that was entertaining, and I bet there's going to be a collectible of trying to find all those cartridges and get them into your Pip-Boy and probably get high scores on all those games. So there'll probably be collectibles and achievements tied to those. So that's going to be pretty cool. Going along with the Pip-Boy thing, I hope the collector's edition has an art book. If it doesn't, it's still okay, because the collector's edition of this game has a real working Pip-Boy, where you slap it onto your arm, you open up the casing, and you slide your iPhone in, and you can use it on there. So it's essentially a fancy watch casing, but it's really cool. And they are actually releasing software that is essentially the Pip-Boy app. And, of course, you can play it without having the physical Pip-Boy thing. Because I bet those collector's editions are going to sell out fucking instantly. As soon as the pre-orders that are available on any service, they're going to sell out quick. So get them now if you really care about this franchise. Going onwards. Now we get into some of the unique details that really started to mess with me. So, Fallout's previous had a crafting system. I knew about that because I interfaced with it a little bit. Because I think you can craft to make weapons and improve weapons and so on and so forth. This game, it continues that with, and I quote, and these numbers might be a little off, but I think they're pretty damn close. 40 base weapons, which is pretty good, but then you have 600 weapon modifications. That's fucking huge. That's a lot of possibilities. You also can modify your power armor. So if you've ever seen the cover of Fallout 3, you've seen the big bulky armor on the cover of it. You can take that and modify the helmet and the plate armors and change it up to however you want it. But I bet both statistically and in a design sense of what you want it to look like. So there's that level of customization for your armor and weapons. But they added in more. Because what you have now is what can happen is you now have a stronghold. So taking a piece out of Skyrim's book like Hearthfire, you can essentially build your own house and expand that into, you can build your own little like fortress, and people will come and live in your little fortress. It's essentially a hideout or a main home base. But the way you do it is that if you find random junk lying around in a certain location where you want to set up, you take that junk, you tear it apart, you literally rip buildings down and rebuild however you want it to be. And they are going full Minecraft with this shit. Like, they're importing, build your house the way you want it to be. Put shit up in your house. Make a little dog house for your dog. Build a defense grid. There's an electricity system in this game where you set up a generator, then you wire it to a switch, then you wire it to a light, and then you go to the switch and you can toggle a light. Or you can set up a monitor between those and you can have it change the light color, change the light pattern. So they are adding in a lot of stuff. So not only are you going to be exploring this game, doing quests in this game, you're also going to be essentially building your little hideout main base how you want it to be. They are really constructing a world where your choice matters and you play the way you want to play, and you shape the game how you want to shape it. So, all that being said, the biggest bombshell of the night, biggest thing of the night wasn't all that, It wasn't the pretty graphics, it wasn't the guns, it wasn't the customization. It was the date. November 10th of this year. Not next year, not 2017, 2015, November 10th is Fallout 4. They pretty much ended the conference saying that, where it's like, boom, here you go. Here's the game, it's done. So November 10th, we get Fallout 4. So, I'm going to shoot myself because... I'm just going. November is going to be a painful month for me because there's a lot coming out in November. Mainly because I intend to possibly acquire myself a PS4 so I can play Battlefront in November. So I might have to grab this as well. So Bethesda, you started off pretty iffy, where I was pretty mad at the marketing guy you had out there for 5. Not only they started late and they had a marketing guy continuously but they brought it back because they showed me the FPS that I want to play, Doom, because it brings back classic Doom of kill the demons with all the cool guns, and it added a whole bunch of stuff and made it look pretty. They added a multiplayer that harps back to what it used to feel like to play Halo, mainly Halo 2 and 3. So hopefully that is fantastic. You built a map maker that makes Forge look like kitty toys. So there's Doom in three little things. Dishonored 2 is coming. We finally get a fucking game where you play as a female assassin and she's not in some weird costume. She looks like a fucking assassin should. She's cloaked up and hidden and she looks cool as hell. But if you really want to, you can play as Corvo. I don't care. I'm playing that game because it's the Empress's daughter. It's the person you saved in Dishonored 1. So she went from timid little girl that was forced to rule the kingdom to assassin within the span of 2 games. I don't know what the time span is, but holy shit, that's going to be awesome. And Fallout 4... I haven't been a Fallout fan. I tried it. I didn't like it. But Fallout 4 might reel me the fuck back in because I really want to jump into that world. I really want to play in that world. And I really want to customize that world to the way I like that world. So, that was Bethesda. Those were the 3 games that I felt the most importance of. I wasn't really... The only other 2 they talked about were Battle Fury or whatever it is, their pseudo MOBA game. They had a little bit on Elder Scrolls Online, which... And they are also making a strategy card game free to play on PC and iPad. Really, you wanted to do this since the beginning. No. The only reason you're making this game is because Hearthstone is popular and you want to jump on that bandwagon. That's my one problem with Bethesda is you have the 2 veins. You have the awesome creative side that gives us Doom, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, and shit like Dishonored. But then you have the side of corporate, which is building, MOBAs are hot, we need to build a MOBA. Oh, card games are hot, we need to build a card game. So, I'm just going to ignore those because I don't care about those. And I'm going to tell you, Doom looks awesome. Dishonored 2 is hopefully going to be fucking amazing. And Fallout 4 is, if you're a Fallout fan, you don't even need to hear it from my lips. If you're considering jumping into the franchise, this is probably the time to jump in. And finally, one last thing of Fallout. The main presenter said, we made a phone game. I was like, okay. Iffy on phone games, but one of my favorite things that he said when he finished showing off the game, and I will say the game, for a phone game, looks actually really cool. He said, this is a free game, but we have no pay-to-win advantage. If you want to win faster, you can buy things. But if you just want to play the game and play how it is, you can just play it, and it's free to play. It's called Fallout Shelter, and the best part of it all, it's out now. Like, go get it now. So hopefully it's going to be on iPad. I'm going to give it a shot. Maybe report back and say how it is. So Bethesda, you done good. You gave us a good Doom. Well, you're going to give us a good Doom. You're hopefully going to give us another fucking awesome Dishonored. And come November, I'm probably going to grab Fallout 4. So, good start to E3. Thank you very much for watching. I will probably do one of these for the other conferences if there are things that I would like to talk about. So, good start to E3. Good games are coming out. November is going to be a fucking hectic month for me with all the shit I want to buy. So, I will see you guys next time.